is up, guys? How is it going? Look at us here in this wonderful US Airways A320 sitting here in front of us, in front of these baggage carts. Man, this thing looks good. Good to see you guys in the house here. Dougal got his stripes back, looking good. Very professional, sir. Barack Uslu in the house. Carl Childers. Phantom 320, how's it going, my friend? Good to see you here. Tony Doc Station. Tony says, I saw the FS Labs 320 today for the first time on a Twitch stream. Holy cowabunga. Didn't realize just how much actually not modeled in the MCDU. Yes, Tony, you and me both, my friend. Been saying that for quite a while. It is unfortunate, but they're still flying on P3D, so that's unfortunate for them. No shade to P3D. It's just not for me. Trying to modify your game to make it look better and just all the different things you got to do to make it look great, just not worth it to me anymore, especially with FS 2020 on the horizon. So here we go, guys. Well, if you've been following along on the channel here, you probably know now that I am now current again for another cycle in training. I just passed my recurrent training this last week. I apologize for not getting around to streaming a little bit sooner. I really wanted to stream yesterday, guys. Life's been really busy with the holidays around here. We got family coming into town tonight and the baby and me training. It's really hard for me to get some free time to be able to do this. So we're doing a shorter flight today, but I just want to get this out there. I am working on the podcast. I'm probably going to combine the View and After Dark for November and December just because of the holidays around December time and everything. So I'm going to combine all that into one podcast that I'm working on right now, and then I think we'll be caught up for now. So once again, this livery is my favorite livery of all time now. It was, I think it's linked in the description. It maybe not be linked in the description. I'll have to do that here. Streamlabs is being weird to me lately with all the updates and stuff. So, but this is a fantastic rendition of November 122 Uniform Sierra. I mean, you come into the cockpit here. Let's go ahead and I'll just show you one detail, then we're going to get on our way. But I mean, this bulkhead right here, guys, look at this. The amount of times that I sat right here, well, maybe not in first class, a couple times in first class, but just looking at this color here is awesome. Here's the old US Airways safety cards. Man, good times. All right, let's get the show on the road, guys. We'll hop into the cockpit here. Let me get rid of this gizmo plug-in. I forget which module that, we don't need that landing speed either. Oops. I forget which module Gizmo is for, but we don't need it for the flight factor. So I pressed something on my button there. All right, let's go ahead and get things set up here, and then we'll get to chatting. We got our doors open. The IRS, why is the IRS in a line in 4 minutes? I've been aligning for the past long time. What is going on with that? What did I press? I pressed something over here on the iPad. I'm not sure what this button does. All right. Well, I guess we're not aligned. Sorry about that. A new epaulet today for Tony Docs. All right. Let's go ahead and do our flow. We'll sit down here in the captain's seat. We're going to come up on the overhead. Crew oxygen supply comes on. A ground control push button is on. This is the beta version of the Flight Factor 320. If you are following along, I am in the beta version. We'll do a quick little fire test here. 1, 2, 3. Got all our lights. Good. We can go ahead and cancel that. FO already tested the APU. Phantom 320 already tested the APU for me, so we're good. We've got our gas on board, I believe. Ooh, 4.6. Is that enough gas? I think that's enough gas. Let's come back over here. These kilograms. 4812. Let's bump it up. I think 4.6 was our minimum. We'll set 5.4. There's 5.4. Perfect. We've got our gas. Fuel pumps can come on. This can come down. We'll get our seatbelt on and auto. Perfect. Overhead panel looks good. We'll go ahead and get the APU primed up here. As that's priming up down here, let's go ahead and get our box loaded. We're a little bit out of date. 10 October. About time for another cycle. Let's initialize. We are going to be going from Bostonia to Philadelphia. Term of endearment. There we go. APU avail. Let's crank it and have a listen to this. Carl says it takes so much money to make P3D look decent. It really does, man. And not only money, but time. I mean, you have to getting all your mods and the CFG. Remember editing the config files and all that stuff. I can't go back to that. Fixture Jake says, I'm a long-haul simmer. I tend to fly P3D more for explain for PMDG's offerings. So especially, man, if you're a long-haul guy, I can definitely understand P3D then, because P3D does, combine P3D with PMDG, the systems modeling, I mean, if you're on a long-haul flight, I want to be tinkering around with every single system on that airplane, so I can definitely understand that. You don't want to be taking the JAR 330 for a 10, 12-hour flight just to be jarred on final approach, so I can definitely understand a lot of long-hauler guys still using the P3D platform. And to be honest, if I still had the P3D all set up and it was completely installed and everything and I hadn't reformatted, I would probably still fly it a little bit, but just to get the motivation to start from scratch again, I can't. All right, today we are Cactus. What did I say our call sign was? We are Cactus 519, I think. It doesn't really matter. I'm not doing any VATSIM today. I just want to hang out with you guys, answer questions in chat. I want to talk a little bit about the training I went through and the EET. If you're unfamiliar with EET, it's the Enhanced Envelope Training, and something the FAA has mandated for North American or U.S. pilots. And it was really good. I mean, you go to Recurrent every year, and hold on, I got to get a cruise altitude for this puppy right here. We were Boston to Philly. The route is 280. Not that it really matters, but go ahead and do 280 right there. Iris and it, we align on ref confirm. Oh, that's, yeah, so now we're aligned. Okay. I was wondering what wasn't aligned yet. Now I lost my train of thought, what I was saying. But that EET training was phenomenal. So we're going to talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about my Recurrent PC. I had a little bit of a boo-boo on the warm-up day, but it's not a big deal or anything like that. But let's see, we're going to go off runway 9er. It's a short runway out of here. What do we have for ATIS? Informations. Winds 240 at 10. Ooh. So according to Active Sky, let's take a look at our runway. Expected runway for landing based on winds 15. Well, you know what? Let's I think they might shoot us off of 4. Yeah, they might shoot us off of 4. We could do 4 right. Yeah, screw it. We'll just do 9. Well, that's it. Well, I know my limitations. I just did my limitations. We can take off with a 15-knot tailwind, so we'll do a 10-knot tailwind. We'll just no-flex it. We'll go full tow out of here. We'll no-flex it, 10-knot tailwind off runway 9er. We're going off on the SOX 5. Let me build this properly. One thing I cannot stand is these pop-out windows here in this beta. Like, how do I make this screen bigger? I don't even know how to make it bigger now. There we go. I can't stand this little frame thing. It's terrible. All right, we're going on the SOX 5. Insert that. SOX 5 to SOX. We're going to then proceed direct to a Buzzard. B-U-Z-R-D. After Buzzard to Sierra Echo Yankee. Gosh, I can't believe I don't remember what that one is. J121. So we'll insert off of SCY Airways. J121. Briggs. Kind of takes us out over the water. J121 Briggs. Insert. Let's take a look. All the way down. Plume, Manta, Briggs. Should have the constraints on that. That'll lead us into the Jims 3 to 27 right. ILS 27 right. Where art thou? ILS 27 right. On the Jims 3. No approach via. So this is the weird thing. Insert. Then I come back here, arrival, next page, off of Briggs intersection. Insert. So that's totally incorrect, but, and now I've got 2 Briggs. What the heck's going on there? Get rid of that.
Donation.
The Sony boy! How's it going, man? Coming in with a $1 super chat. It says $1 donation says long live cactus. Thank you, Sony boy. Appreciate it, my friend. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for being here. Long live cactus indeed. Yes, absolutely. Long live cactus. All right, we got our flight plan in the box. Why do I have that line? That must be an extended runway center line. Sure looks like it. Yep. That's funny. So, interesting. So what happens here is this arrival ends in a vector, right? And you see this long extended dash line. After you hit peace out, you're supposed to maintain a certain heading vector, and it goes on indefinitely. And that's indicated here in our flight plan as I scroll through. There is our indefinite vector. It's kind of funny. I also know if you take off out of Philly and you're going to Dallas, if you do an extended center line off of 27 left, you eventually put yourself right on about a 5-mile final for DFW. But you never really get to fly that route. You just see the extended center line on your ND. All right, so our flight plan's in the box. Secondary, initialize. Let's do it. Boston, Boston. Tony Doc says, I hope the checks went well, Cap. They sure did, man. They sure did. We are current for another cycle. We're good to go. We're doing, there's a bunch of revamp stuff. They're doing a whole new training thing for us next year, so it's going to be interesting. But I believe that was my last PC as I know it. Now we're going into a different type of training, a recurrent training. So we are current. We fooled them for another cycle, guys. We fooled them for another cycle. All right, if we blow an engine, we got to come back around. I'm not messing around. I'm going to request 3-3 left. Ooh, which reminds me, I need to make sure all the failures are removed because we don't want to actually blow an engine today. Leonardus, commercial pilot member, joining the channel. I'm sorry, I'm not Leonidas. Leonardus L. Let's get some positive rates out there, my friends. Thank you so much, my friend, for joining the channel, becoming a sponsor. Really appreciate it. If you are unfamiliar, my friend, there is some exclusive member-only content. If you are a part of the Discord, make sure to sync your YouTube to your Discord. You can get access to the View and After Dark Discord channel, which I haven't been too active in there right now. I realize that. But during normal operations, I tend to be a little bit more active in that channel for you guys, kind of exclusive for members, as well as some members-only content, which right now I'm doing some podcast stuff, and I'm behind a week just because it's been crazy life, but we're going to get it. I'm going to get you the November-December podcast out here real soon. That's for members only. So thank you again, my friend, for joining the channel. Really appreciate it. 240 at 10. A couple of you guys were asking me from that last podcast, you saw a lot of that Embraer 170 footage, Embraer 190 footage when I was flying back at the regionals, and a lot of it's from the right seat. I think most of it is, actually. I think I made that video. It's like my 3-year anniversary or something like that. So you guys wanted to see that video in full with audio, so I'm going to go ahead and release that Embraer footage with audio, the actual video that I recorded for members only as well. So you guys be expecting that here real soon. 30.07 on the altimeters. Temperature is, what do we got out there? +2. A little bit chilly. We got to get that APU warming up the cabin. I could hear old Haley already just saying it's chilly back there, especially with the doors open. So yeah, let's go ahead and go APU bleed. Let's go ahead and warm it up a little bit back there for them. What do we got temperature wise? Oh yeah, they're freezing. They would be yelling at me long before now. So we'll get that warmed up for them real quick. Look at that. Trim air valves are doing some weird, very weird behavior right there. Okay, that looks a little bit more normal. Now we're warming up. So hot air's coming in here. These are trim air valves. Basically, trim air trims how much hot air you want into the mixing unit, which is not depicted on the eCam display, but then from the mixing unit it goes into the cabin. All right, secondary has been copied. Nothing to hard tune. Init B page. We're gonna go ahead and go wait request. Oh wait, I don't know if I want to do that. Let's hold off on that. We've got our fuel. We've got that set. Passengers. We got a full first class of sponsors back there. We're gonna load up that first class. We'll kind of leave it be like that for now. And cargo. Mostly on this flight, it's business people, so you're not gonna have too much cargo. So let's go ahead. We'll set that. What does that look like? That looks good. And I'll go ahead and set that, and then we'll go like that. What do we have? 20.5 and 49.5. Everything looks good there. No alternate. Perfect. Come back to the perf data. We're going to bump these. Yeah, we're going to do a no flex, so we're going to bump it up just a tad. We're going to go 125, 130, 135. Flaps 1. Let's do a flap. I'm making these up right now. We're going to do a flaps 2, no flex. We don't have to worry about our second segment climb because we're out over the water. That looks good. All right. We're going to be going up to... We're just going to clear ourselves straight up to 280. Let's be a little bit more realistic. Let's top altitude on the SID. Top altitude on the SID is 5,000 feet. So we'll set 5,000 feet right there. That looks good. Dimitri says, a great guy once said, folks, you can't catch anything from that like button. Excellent. Excellent, Dimitri. Thank you, my friend. Absolutely right. Cannot catch anything negative from that like button. All right. Dimitri also says, are you more than qualified for this? SSG or X-Crafts? Neither. That's my final answer. Neither. Unless they're free. Well, I shouldn't say that. I believe one of them is offering or is trying to make their product better. And I don't have enough time. I have one, I think I have the SSG. And the exterior is pretty darn good. The inner workings of the McDo and stuff, in all honesty, guys, I really don't remember a lot of how the box works in the Embraer. I mean, I'm sure if I looked at it, I could get it working just fine. I still have all my old manuals from the Embraers. But I know some of the stuff in there is just me forgetting, but I also know, just from doing 2 or 3 flights with them, that there's a lot of buggy stuff and not really accurate stuff happening in their FMS on the Embraer series. So I just kind of put it away. And the cockpit texturing was not really there. And you know me, I can do low texturing and hardcore systems, but I can't do low texturing and low systems. I can't fly planes like that in the sim. It's not very enjoyable for me. So I've kind of, shied away from them. We might give them another look here in a little while, but let's go ahead and close those doors up. Man. Yes, sir. You can hear that AP or that hydraulic unit closing the doors. All right. So that's all closed up. We'll still keep that. We'll remove the aft cleaners. They're clear. We'll go ahead and remove our fuel truck. And we'll go ahead and pull the chocks so we can go ahead and get rid of the ground power. I think we're just about ready to go. I think we are ready to go, guys. APU is on. All right. Let me pull out my checklist yet again. Oh, before I do that, I want to set up better pushback. Pre-plan. Perfect. Spot 3.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
And let's... I think if we turn on said beacon light, Haley will start talking. Alright. While she's doing her announcement, I'm going to pull up my checklist because it's still, when they change them, I still have a habit of saying the wrong thing and then people get mad at you. So I gotta really try to get this new checklist down. You'd be amazed at how much, you can read something for years, and then they change one thing and you're like, okay, I've got it, and then as soon as you're under high stress or anything like that, you revert back to your original learning. So that's why any chance I get doing the sim here, I want to do the new checklist. All right, here we go. Before start checklist. Make log and tail number on board and check. Cockpit preps complete. Gear pins and covers removed. Signs, so they are on and auto. 8 ears. We're navin. Fuel 4.5 required, 5.4 on board. In altimeters, what did we have today? What did I say it was? 3007 is set once. Set twice. And that copies me set 3 times. EFB is checked. Windows, doors, and slides. We're still waiting on that forward cabin door. We'll go ahead and close up. We'll close up that forward cabin. There it is. Windows, doors, and slides. Closed and armed. Beacon. That is on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake is on for now. Transponder is... We're going to go ahead and turn that on for the announcements. We'll just squawk 2000. Transponder is in transponder. Before start checklist complete. Alright, let's go ahead and get out of here.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Leonardus says V1, is it normal for the plane to be accelerating while taxiing with the thrust levers on idle? That always happens when I taxi. I get brakes hot a lot. Yes, so especially if you're light, Leonardus, it definitely will run away from you. The 319, 320 more so, 321 not as much just because it's heavier, even though you do have more thrust on the 321. But the 320, especially if you're downhill or a little bit lighter, you will end up riding the brakes. So our technique is to not ride the brakes. You definitely don't want to ride the brakes because that's how you get hot brakes. What you want to do is let the aircraft accelerate to about 25, 30 knots, one steady application of the brake pedals. Let the aircraft slow down about 10 knots or just below 10 knots, and then release the brakes and let it continue to start rolling again. So that comes from Airbus. They say to do that. It helps keep the brake temps down a little bit, and you don't want to ride the brakes, especially if you're somewhere hot in Las Vegas. Going down to, what is it, 2.6? Is it 2.6 on Vegas? I can't remember now. Yeah, off of Vegas, taxi downhill in the summertime, you'll get hot brakes. It's almost unavoidable unless you're really on top of it. And sometimes, you single engine taxi for that reason, but then sometimes you won't have enough breakaway thrust if you're too heavy. So it's a trade-off. But yeah, the aircraft will definitely roll at idle thrust.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
All right, he's underneath there. Brakes release, clear to push spot 3.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Roger that. We'll go ahead and get away from the gate here. Phantom says I have to agree with the neither statement or neither sentiment. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know, man. Phantom flew the Embraers as well. I just, it's been so long for me since I've flown them. I know I'm missing stuff and I'm doing stuff wrong when I get in the cockpit of it, but I'm almost positive there's a lot of stuff that is not just me not remembering. There's some stuff that doesn't flow right. From what I remember, the Embraer, it was actually, once you learned how to do it, it was a very simple box to set up because you basically just set up the page you were on and then you hit the next page and then you set up that page, and it was all very sequential and boom, 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 boom. When you were done, the airplane was ready to go. I could not get that in the X-Crafts. Or, I'm sorry, SSG. I believe I have the SSG. Carl says, at least we're getting a 321 from Tolis. That was good news. We sure are. We sure are getting a 321 from Tolis. And they have kindly invited me to the beta testing for that airplane. And I don't know how much I can't say about it. I know I can't do any videos or anything like that, so we're definitely not going to do any videos on it yet until they give me approval or whatnot. But the external modeling is pretty fantastic. I am allowed to post screenshots of it, so I'll probably post some pictures of it. Maybe I'll post that in the V1 After Dark channel only for exclusive just to my members out there to see some of the external shots. But the external modeling is fantastic, and the only other thing I'll really say about it is, because I don't know what I can say, what I can't say, but I flew it around the traffic pattern. I did two laps in the traffic pattern, and it flies like a 321, guys. And I've said this before, as much similarity as there is between the 19, 20, and 21, you can definitely tell you're in a 19 or 20 or 21 because they fly differently from each other, but they all fly the same, if that makes sense. So you have the same box, the same cockpit essentially, minus a couple small changes here and there, but performance-wise and actual that seat of your pants feel in the airplane, you can definitely tell when you're in a different model. And I can definitely tell I'm in a 321 when I'm flying the 321 TOLUS around. And that's just from a very quick, just a test flight. I haven't had a lot of time to really dive into a bunch of other stuff. But it flies really nice. So I will say that. Let's go ahead, crank one. All right, thanks for the smooth push, my friend. We're starting engine one. Spool them up. Look at that engine right there. My goodness. He kind of used some Atavia mod. He used his this livery is the best livery on the Flight Factor Airbus out there. Look at this right here, man. This looks great. Oh yeah. We'll go ahead and start them both up here. Oh yeah. That is definitely not a Hoover vacuum. That sounds so good. Gosh. Oh boy. That just makes me excited every time. That goes normal, that goes up. Let's go ahead and drop the flaps out to 1. Oh, we're doing a flaps 2 takeoff. We're gonna rocket out of here. Flaps 2, no flex. Relatively lightly loaded. This ought to be fun. Boom, boom, boom. That comes off. That comes off. Engine 2 is started. We'll start the clock. After start checklist. Engine NIs, that is off. Yellow electric pump, that is off. Rudder trim 0. After start checklist completed. Taxi lights coming on. Brakes release. Let's go ahead and get up close and personal for this breakaway here. Whew. I love it. Absolutely love it. Let me get my McDo's set up. Or not my McDo's, my DU set up for the takeoff roll. Oh, and we have to make sure we have no failures. That's a big one. Let's come over here. Failures. Alright, everything is cleared off. So you saw it here. No failures. So if anything blows up, it's not me. Or it probably might be me. We have bigger issues. TCAS standby. Why are you on standby? Let's go TARA and mini brief, and he does the mini brief. We're gonna take the inner out. This is normally the inbound one, but I want to taxi by these beautiful static aircraft over here. Man. Tony Doc says, can you say anything about the 321 McDo? I don't know, man. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't know what I can say. They said I couldn't really say anything, or they didn't say I couldn't say anything. I will say this. Secondary flight plan is modeled and functional. So, I am really happy about that. But that's kind of what, you know, from the beta, they kind of want to test out. There's a lot of stuff they're working on. It's still early, but they want to really see, you know, the FMGC logic and all that stuff. So I got to really do some arrivals and approaches and see how it computes the descents and all that stuff. I think that's what they really want to be tested, because then they're going to go ahead and tweak from there. So, but it is nice, man. It is nice. All right, here comes Echo straight ahead. Cross 4. That 4 is not. Yeah, let's see. I'm looking at my taxi chart. Yeah, we'll straight ahead on Echo, clear across 4 right, and then a right turn on Mike. So clear right, clear across, light them up. Oh, that's cool right there. Man, the color on this livery is 1-to-1. It's perfect. All right, is this Mike? I believe this is Mike. Right turn on Mike. Man, it's dark out here. So one thing that's bothering me with the beta is this flight factor cockpit glass is very dark, and I don't know how to make it lighter. Maybe it's in the special options. All right, here is runway 9er. We'll hold short of that. And we'll set the brake. Run through our checks. And flight controls. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. And neutral. Auto brakes max. Takeoff config. We'll go ahead and turn a U on. That's in the auto. We're in TARA. Everything else looks good there. We're going to go ahead and tell the fat panel we're ready. We're ready to go. All right, before takeoff checklist all the way through. We've got our just about 5 minutes on the engine there, about 20 more seconds, so it'll be good by the time we finish this checklist. Before takeoff checklist, gross weight comparison is complete. Pitch trim. Ooh, this is one I did not set. It was 0.6 down set. V1 VR, a V2 flex. We've got 125, 130, 135, no flex. Flaps 2. Flight instruments, they are checked. Flight controls checked. ECAM memo. Takeoff, all green. ECAM status is checked. PWS is auto. TCAS code set. TRA, cabin crew advised. Mini brief is complete. Takeoff runway, I got runway 9er here. Runway 9er out here, confirmed. Fuel, 4.5 required, 5.2 on board. Engine mode selector is a normal. Bleeds and packs are set. Before takeoff checklist complete. Let's get out of here. Time to full toga this baby. Do a little cinematic lineup and wait. Wow. Long live cactus. Yes, sir. Alright, we are really off center line, but runway 9er checks. Nose forward on the stick. Spool them up 50%. Let's hit it. Yoga. Mantoga SRS. Auto thrust blue. There comes the major bump there on 4 right. Medium knots thrust set. Neutral at 100. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Ooh, baby. Look at that right there. Wow. Look at my auto chrono started. Romulus, you're my hero, my friend. Look at that, the auto chrono at gear retraction. All right, we're in climb. We got a reversal and trend. Let's go thrust climb. There it is, thrust climb, auto thrust. And we are above S speed, so flaps 1. We're gonna get that nose down a wee bit. A little bit rough out here today. Flaps 0 after takeoff checklist. A little bumpy out here today. Flaps coming up, flyby view. Whew. How are we on the departure? Did we blow through anything yet? Not quite. We're still looking good. Cactus 119, climb maintain 280. Up to 280. Let's get back on course here. So in the EET training, or the enhanced envelope training, we did a lot of no flight director, no auto thrust flying, and we did some just regular old. We did the Whitestone climb at a LaGuardia, just on with regular VOR needles. You know, just old school. Selected, not even selected. No autopilot, no auto thrust, no flight director. Just flew the airplane like you would if you were flying, you know, a light trainer. Just VOR needles, twist in your course, or you set your course on the RadNav page. So we'll do that. We'll do a Rose ILS into Philly. We'll just do it all old school. We'll turn everything off. We'll do a Rose ILS into Philadelphia. Robbie says, glad you're liking the script. Yes, sir, I am, because I totally forgot, and there it goes. It's beautiful, man. I appreciate it. All right, we're into the clouds now. Let's go ahead and just go autopilot Uno. Probably an icing. Let's go ahead and get these heats on. Engine in ice, and yeah, definitely -3 there as we pop through the clouds. Sun coming off the wing there. It's bumpy. I can hear the carts rattling around in the background. Turn, baby, turn. Oh, I also forgot to shut off these here. And the heats are coming off. We are just about above it. And we may have to turn them back on. We may not. Let's go selected speed 250 here. There's 10,000. I'm going to select speed 250 to see if we can get above of these clouds here. We'll go ahead and get rid of our lights. Oops, wrong direction. Help us climb out a little bit faster. Look at that sucker hole right there. We call that a sucker hole. If you're flying VFR, don't fly into one of those, because then you may end up... Look at that crab already. Holy crap. 53 knots. You may end up IFR, even though you're VFR, if you fly through a sucker hole, so... That's why they're called sucker holes. Alright, 280 on the speed as we're climbing out here. I think we're going to be alright. Dimitri says, I've been waiting for a raw data approach in the bus for ages. Yeah, we'll do it, man. I just, you know, honestly, I haven't done it because I always forget. But after doing that training, I mean, it really, it's all fresh in my mind. So, but we'll do it. It's pretty simple. We're just gonna, what we'll do is, I don't have the chart with me right now for the screen, but we'll load up the ILS and then we'll put our course in here, and you basically tune it by just coming to your RadNav here, and you're good to go. So essentially, we were flying a departure procedure at a LaGuardia. Oh, I'm sorry, we flew an arrival into LaGuardia, and you basically just put in your radial You know, like, so for instance, if we put the SCY, we'll hard tune it. And then when you can just say, I want course 256, put that there, and then we go Rose VOR, and now you fly your heading until this needle comes in, just like you're in a King Air, just like you're in a 172, anything, just it's raw data. And instead of twisting your course, you just have to enter it here in the rad nav page. Now, that's where a little bit of crew communication comes into play, because I was tracking one radial inbound, and then we had to switch it. So then the first officer would come over here, and then he would switch it out. He'd put in the, you know, let's say it was the say 180 on his side, and then I would, when his needle was moving over here, I'd be looking at his. So he'd have his Rose VOR up like this, and when I saw his needle coming in, then I'd say, all right, it's time to turn, bug my heading, and then reselect the course for me, and then he'd put the 180 course on my side, and off we went. So it's fun, man. It really brought me back to just, you know, the old raw data flying, and that's the whole point of the training, was to get guys more familiar. Just the last time we've actually flown an airplane. It's been quite a while, especially for some of us airline guys. So there's standard 18,000. We'll set standard 123. We can probably go ahead and bug our speed up to 300 now. Is the radar on? We do have the radar on. Not painting anything, that's good. I think most of our radar returns were coming from a little bit further inland, so I think we should be clear of any weather out there. Man, I'm trying to find a good... There we go. That's the shot we want to see. Dimitri says, what about a DME approach? So what do you mean by DME? You mean like a VOR DME? Because you have to have some type of lateral navigation. NDB approach, maybe? Now, you can do an NDB approach in as long as you overlay it, I believe. Now, depending on the manufacturer, I know most of our Airbuses don't even have, or we only have 180F receiver, I believe, or something like that, so you don't have two. But you can do the approach as long as you overlay it with the FMS overlay, and then the guy not flying or the pilot monitoring will have to have raw data up and just cross-referencing. So maybe that's what you're referring to as a DME. Yeah, VOR approach. We did VOR approaches on I think, where was it? Mexico City? No, I can't remember. There's a couple of VOR approaches in the system, but same thing. If we have to do a VOR approach, it's FMS overlay, and then the pilot monitoring will pull up the raw data, just like I showed you there on the RadNav page. Put in the VOR, put in the course, and you're just cross-referencing, making sure everything is jiving. How do you enter NDBs in the RadNav page? I don't know that you do. Let's see. It would be under ADF. Yeah, you do. So what some guys do, what some old guys do, they'll be like, oh, they'll come in here and they'll just put 519. Or no. Well, it doesn't work in this. But in the real airplane, you can just put in whatever frequency you want. I hope it doesn't crash my game. And then they'll do it. There we go. So then they have... This is what old guys do, and I can't stand it when I get in an airplane like this. So, it's not quite depicted right, but it'll say 519 down here, and that's what they use to remind themselves of their call sign. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, you've got your call sign is on top of your box. It's over here. Or I guess we're 191 or whatever, in real life anyway. It's on top of the box over there. It's on the flight plan. There's a couple other places that you can see it. So do you really need to put an ADF, a fake ADF over there just so you can remember what your call sign is? But that's just an old guy thing. And they probably, if they have that, then you're probably going to see your you're going to see this when you get in the cockpit too, because some of the old guys, you know, they'll fly around with freaking Rose ILS and like, ooh. But you can do it. It's just you lose a lot of situational awareness. I think the best situational awareness is when you're in ArcNav. NDB approach. Yeah, Dimitri, you meant NDB. Yeah, so just like I was saying, you would have to do, at least for us, now I'm sure there's different Airbus out there that will have different equipment, but for us, our procedure is if we do an NDB approach, it's got to be an FMS overlay, so it has to be in the database, You have to have a current database, and you would fly it just like you're flying almost an RNAV approach. But the pilot monitoring would then load up the ADF and the frequency, and he'd put his ADF needle up, and you would verify that the FMS data is correct with the raw data. But you would fly it in managed, or in pink needles, essentially. So that's kind of what we'll do. And we'll do that into Philly. We'll do the ELS, we'll do the RoseNav ILS in the Philly. But somebody was asking me the other day, is there any AOA indicator in an Airbus? And I said no, but I was wrong, and I totally spaced. So there is an angle of attack indicator in the Airbus. The thing is, we don't have an X-plane. So in a certain tail number in our fleet to all the rest of the Airbuses we have and all the new Airbuses that are coming off the line, they have a new button down here, and it's called Backup Speed Scale. And when you press the Backup Speed Scale, what happens is this turns into essentially an AOA scale. And you have green, which means you're on speed or you're flying at proper AOA, and then you have red slow and red fast. And you basically just fly with the AOA in the green. Now, with the newer aircraft that have the Backup Speed Scale, when you press that button right here, you can just toggle it on and off, and you can mess with it in flight. You can do an approach with the Backup Speed Scale if you want. Now, the older airplanes, like this one that we're flying, which does not have the Backup Speed Scale, there is still a way to get the AOA or Backup Speed Scale. I'm going to go ahead and manage speed, 280, Alt Star, make sure we are cruising 280, yes we are. Let's put Phil in the secondary because I know it's not very far away, 221. Alright, so we don't have a lot of time to mess around. But so in the older Airbuses that don't have the Backup Speed Scale push button, you can still get it by turning off all 3 of your ADRs, Air Data 1, 2, and 3. Now, it's not mono and X-plane. I've already tried it. I tried turning off all 3 of them, but it doesn't work. It just gives me a red. Just red blocks them out. So you can't get the Backup Speed Scale. But in real life, know that you can. The only problem is if you do that in real life, if you shut off all 3 ADRs to get the Backup Speed Scale, you're going to be flying the rest of the flight in the Backup Speed Scale. You can't get rid of it, unlike having that push button in the newer Airbuses where you can turn the Backup Speed Scale on and off. So there is, in fact, AOA indicating on the Airbus. I believe Boeing has it almost as a standard feature, probably. Or at least on the NGs. I've seen it on the PFD or whatever, the ND. But it is implemented in the Airbus. You just have to know where to find it. So I was wrong, and I stand corrected. And it was good to know. I actually shot an approach during that EET training in Backup Speed Scale, just AOA. And well, how do you know if you overspeed the flaps? Well, nobody's really going to know. If you're in the Backup Speed Scale anyway, you probably have a lot more problems to worry about than overspeeding the flaps by a few knots. So you just try to keep it in the green and do your best to not overspeed. But if it happens, it happens. All right, let's go back to that juicy view. See if we can find another. Looks like the sun is on this side now, a little bit better. Oh my goodness. There we go. Right there. Yep. That's the shot. Now I wanted to see if I have a few pictures from that EET stuff. We actually went inverted. They put you in some crazy situations. Now, let me see. I guess I can't. That's because X-plane is over top of it. That stinks. But I'll have some pictures I'll share with you guys in the Discord of what the sim looked like upside down essentially. But it will roll. You can actually roll. You can fly the Airbus 1G if you roll it in 1G. It'll fly inverted. Now, how long will it fly inverted? Probably not very long. The problem is you have to, in order to get it completely rolled over, you got to be doing about 350 indicated. So you're going to be in a fast situation. But the whole purpose of the training was, I don't know if you guys if you remember, there was I believe it was a Challenger, it was a corporate jet that flew under an A380 and got wake turbulence at 38,000 feet or something like that. It basically rolled 3 times before they could recover it, nose down. So the training puts you in those kind of situations. Like, do you ever expect to be inverted at 38,000 feet? No. But if you were to end up in that situation, how do you get out of it? And a lot of it comes down to using the bird. So, I always talk about putting up the bird when you're hand flying, because you have to unload the wings. If you unload the wings, if you're not pulling positive G's, you're not going to overstress the airframe. And I'm sure Carl Childress probably heard about this, or the zero lift line, being a military guy. One of the fastest ways to accelerate, or the fastest way to accelerate, is at the zero lift line, or 0G, because you have no drag. So the same applies when you're in an upset attitude. If you can pitch the aircraft for 0G, which essentially would be if this bird was down here, you basically are just trying to aim this box, trying to put it down at the tail of this flight path angle marker. You're essentially creating a 0G or a zero lift environment. And at zero lift, you don't have to worry about overstressing the airframe. So if you're a 0G and then you can roll the aircraft, get the wings level, now we can go ahead and start pitching for our recovery and trying to recover the airplane. We are plus or minus at 2.5 Gs is our positive G. Once you exceed 1 G, the lower ECAM will actually start displaying G loadout on the airframe. Now, our limitation is 2.5 or 2 Gs, essentially. That's our limitation, plus 2 Gs. Now, at plus 2.5, the average simmer and desktop aviator are probably going to start blacking out at that point. Now, I'm sure Carl can probably pull upwards of 8 or 9 Gs, maybe even more, when you're trained to do it. But the whole point is to not overstress the airframe. So, once you recover the pitch attitude and you're at the zero lift line, now it's time to start putting Gs on the airframe. The guy who's not flying is over here reading out your G load, and you're trying to get the airplane recovered to a level pitch. Because if you roll inverted at 38,000 feet, you're going to be going fast. And Airbus recommends, don't worry about overspeeding, worry about overstressing. So let the airplane overspeed somewhat to try to not overstress it and get the pitch attitude recovered. The Airbus, actually, during certification, they went up to 8.7 Mach before they stopped testing. So the Airbus can go up to 8.7. My sim partner, he actually he went full Maverick mode. I think he got us up to 9.4. I think we essentially probably would have died during his recovery. But the Airbus is good up to 8.7 Mach tested in theory. So if you can maintain below 8.7 Mach and recover an upset attitude with staying in your G tolerances, you have a good chance of surviving. And that's what that crew did in that Challenger. I mean, they did a fantastic job get the airplane back down on the ground. And, that airframe was totaled. It was, the fuselage was bent. There was some flight control surfaces that were damaged. So just imagine sitting up here, sipping on your Coca-Cola or whatever it is you're drinking, and all of a sudden you're upside down, inverted, 38,000 feet, stalling, and the risk of an overspeed and over G. You don't have a lot of time to react, but you need to react. And that's kind of the whole purpose of that training. So we did a lot of great stuff. I was really impressed with it. And I believe you have to run through the program 2 times. You have to do 2 cycles. So I got to do one more, I think, next year. I think it's an annual thing. So then after that, you wait a year or 2 and then go back. All right, let's go ahead and take a look where we are here. Schlepp Shardy? Hoffy Schlepp Sardi. There we go. So that's the gyms. I'll pull up my gyms arrival here real quick. Expect to cross some Briggs at 14,000. That's an expect, so we'll go ahead and put that in here. Let's go ahead and start programming here a little bit. Constraint mode is on. Gerald McGinley says, have you ever flown an older 320, one with the older ECAM, manual gauges, and older ball-style artificial horizon? If so, does it make any difference in comparison? No. So, the old ball-style... Oh, you're talking about the... yeah, I know. On the ICE, we call it the ISIS, the old-school backup attitude indicator. No, I haven't flown one with the old pneumatic attitude indicator, the backup, but I have flown the old ones with the CRT screens. We had a 319 with a different ECAM at one point, but no, I haven't flown one with the pneumatic backup attitude indicator. There's not a lot of differences. The worst part about flying with the older screens, with the CRT screens or whatever, is it's hard to see. The glare is awful, especially if the sun is coming in at a certain angle. You can barely read your ND or PFD, or even the worst is the McDo, the MCDU. If the McDo is the old school, you look down, it just looks black, it looks blank. And you're like, is it working? Yeah, and you have to put your hand over it, and you're trying to program the box. It can get annoying. But as far as flying performance-wise, everything's pretty much the same. All right. What was I looking for? I was looking for Briggs. There we go. Expect to cross a Briggs at 14,000. Insert that. And that'll probably change our top of descent here a little bit. Let's go back, take a look. Yeah, it's out there by Manton now. Dimitri says this is so much better than watching a YouTuber just fly a plane with a bunch of guys donating their money. So said YouTuber gets to live out his hobby worry-free. That's well, appreciate the comment, Dimitri. Yeah, we all got to make a living somehow, right? But appreciate it, man. I'm glad I could share some knowledge with you guys. That's what I'm here for. I want you guys learning. If I end up stop teaching, I'm doing the wrong thing. But all right, so we're gonna do, like I said, we're gonna do Rose LS. So I'm gonna make sure we set up properly here. We're gonna start. All right, it's in the box. Our rad nav. We are going to. It's already auto-tuned for us. IPDP 108.95. Final approach course will be 268. We'll get our LS push buttons on. That is correct. So we've got that in the ILS page, so we don't have to tune it manually. Now, let me pull up the approach plates for 27 left. Oh no, 27 right. 27 right. We are going to 27 right, correct? Yeah, 27 right. So, are there any crossings? There aren't any. So I don't have to put anything out, any cross-reference needles or anything like that. So actually that, in this situation, we don't have to touch the RadNav page. But in probably the majority of your other situations, you may end up having to hard tune an ILS frequency in a course. But this all matches up. That's our final approach course, and we can see this depicted here when we go Rose LS. We can see course 268, ILS 108.95, and this pink needle is what we're going to be after. We can go ahead and get rid of the VOR needles there. And once we're within range and we have signal, we're going to have our standard glide slope deviation over here, and then we have our localizer deviation over here. So that looks good. We'll go ahead and keep her in ARC mode for now. Progress page, we're going to put in KPHL 27 right. Perf data, next phase. We're going to descend fast. We'll just take it all the way down, 79340. Some of you guys ask, why do I always change it and pull it back? I mean, I just do it because in the real airplane, sometimes you don't if you don't change it and it's bumpy or something like that, or there's a tailwind, it's going to be really difficult to slow down. So coming down 79340, that's pretty screaming. That's close to red line. Matter of fact, it pretty much is red line. So actually, we can do it though. We'll leave it for now. You just have to make sure you slow down earlier than later. But we'll say it's go home leg. Go home leg, we're doing 79340 all the way in. So perf data set. And approach information. Let me pull up my active sky. Let's see, what do we've got? 210 at 17, gust 22, excellent. 210 at 17, gust 22. Temperature is going to be 09 degrees. QNH in Philly is 30-6. Beautiful. MDA 211. Boom. There we go. So approach data looks good. Fuel, we got 56 minutes extra gas. Perfect. We'll go ahead and copy the active flight plan just in case we need to, and then McDo, I'd go ahead and send for our performance data, get our landing information. We're going to go auto brakes low. And flaps full, manual reverse, everything else looks good. Alright, we're pretty much ready to go now. Close that window. Let's get back outside. Yes, sir. Man, this livery looks so good. Is it Gerald McGinley? You're the one that made this airplane, right? I think you're in the chat with us. You're the one that made this livery, I think. Fantastic job, my friend. I can't stress it enough. Detail, level of detail, all the way around. Absolutely fantastic. Tony says, does anyone know how to add the Navigraph charts to the EFB? I believe you just go to the, yeah, the browser. Is it the browser function? Dimitri answered that, I think, for you. Captain Geo in the house. How's it going, my friend? Good to see you, Captain Geo. What's going on, man? We are just setting up now, getting ready for our approach into Philadelphia. We're going to do an old school everything off approach. We're going to shut off all the flight directors. We'll shut off the auto thrust. We're going to do a Rose LS landing, just like you would in a 172 or something like that. So we're going to do that. That'll be fun. All right. Yeah, Gerald says, yes, he's the one that painted this livery. Absolutely fantastic, man. Let's come underneath it here. Look at this. 122. Look at the gear doors. It's got the tail, or the note, yeah, the tail number 122 right there. So we've got our static ports over here. This is our extract outlet. A couple avionics access hatches. RVSM critical areas up here. 320 under the nose there. Beautiful. Wow, that's kind of a cool shot right there. That looks pretty sweet. Let's go ahead and keep looking around this beautiful airplane here. All the hatches down here. You can actually fly with one of these hatches missing, believe it or not. You just have to make sure it's entered in the performance data. It's like a drag penalty or something like that. Coming up under the wings here. A new member, Ryan Linker. How's it going, my friend, Ryan Linker? Let's get some positive rates out there. We have a new member to the channel. Ryan, glad to have you here, my friend. Glad you're enjoying the content. Like I mentioned before, you know, sync up your Discord to your YouTube account. Get access to the V1 After Dark channel. I'm going to post some inverted sim pics in there. And also the V1 After Dark podcast series. I'm also going to be releasing a video here very soon about my Embraer flying from back in the Embraer days. And that'll be for members only as well. So thanks again, Ryan. Thanks for joining the channel, my friend. Yeah, here's all our access hatches. Now, if I was a really good guy, I would know what each one was, but honestly, I can't even remember. I know there's one for the cargo door. They have a little hatch there. They can open and run the hydraulic pump. These are basically hydraulic access doors. I'm sure Gerald probably knows more than I do down here. This is Gerald and Captain Geo. I think you're a ground service man yourself, right? Probably familiar with that. Look at the light. Wow, that's cool. I never even noticed. You got the light under the wing. So these little strips here, anybody know what these little strips here are? These are protecting the fuel pump wires, essentially. So the fuel pump electric currents are, I believe that's, make sure I say this right now, I'm trying to show off. I believe it's AC currents. The only thing AC on the system is the fuel pump power, and for safety reasons they go ahead and they move these wires are outside of the fuel tank. So that's why they're in these little strips here, essentially. But they run, that's the wires to the fuel pump. Coming around back here. Ryan Linker says you have the highest quality content. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Okay, coming back here on the APU. So this is our APU inlet over here. So when we say flap open, we're waiting for flap open, we're waiting for this to open up right here. This is the APU access hatch. Come around here. There's a lav service. Where are my lav guys at in chat? So waste Waste removal, I think it's this one right here, right? Is this the waste removal hatch? That's where I said when you're doing the pre-flight walk around, you want to make sure you don't look up when you walk under the tail. Either that or walk clear across the, clear behind the airplane. Because whatever is leaking out of here is not potable water, my friend. It is not potable water. I've got a pretty nasty story that I don't know if I should share with you. YouTube may not like it. Coming around. I think this dot thing, I think that's a flight factor modeling thing, right? Look at the text here by the doors. Look at that. Fantastic job. Gerald says if the resolution was higher, the panels have proper titles of what's inside. Save it can't go much higher resolution though. Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic, man. I think I could probably turn up my texture detail a little bit more, but for streaming purposes, I got to keep it down just a little bit. But I did bump it all the way up, and I saw you even put some of the, what's the information on the gear door panel when the main gears are down. There's that placard on the I'm drawing a blank now, but I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. But I saw that there. Fantastic, man. Absolutely fantastic. Cap Geo says, I'm loving those 321 Man 5 tanks for fuel main mid-range aircrafts. Yes, sir, Captain Geo. We have a 321 here coming pretty soon as well. All right, let's take a look, see where we are, make sure we're not barreling through. We are approaching Manta intersection. I'm going to get these back on. What's our perf data say for descent? 28 miles. Everything else looks good. You know what I never did, though, is I never let the people stand up in the back. They're probably getting toasty back there. 26C. Let's go ahead and go back to normal. And we'll go ahead and let them run around for a minute. So, another little fun fact. These cockpit temperature control knobs here, you're not actually controlling the temperature in the cabin or cockpit. Well, for the cockpit you are. The cabin, what you're doing is you're basically setting a range for the flight attendants. So, more often than not, you'll see these knobs kind of right about here. And what that does, it allows the flight attendants to then adjust the temperature from, I think, anywhere from like 65 to 72 degrees or something like that. And, you know, then if I were to move it here, they'd only be able to adjust it from 60 to maybe 75 degrees. So you're essentially just setting a range for the flight attendants, which will then go back on their FAT panel and change the temperature specifically for them. Look at the details here on the lav door. Just, man. Is there a toilet? I don't think there's a toilet. We always check. It's locked. Can't get in. Dang it. It's probably a good thing. All right, come back around to the FAT panel. So yeah, I don't think we can mess with this, can we? No, no, I don't think we can mess with this. I think some of these buttons are bleeding through to the cockpit. But yeah, so they would have, look, zone control, forward zone. They can adjust the temperature more specifically back here. You're just setting a range for them to adjust it with. But nice forward galley here. Very good. Let's go ahead and take a little cabin tour. It's all the mods and sponsors up here. Thank you, thank you. Ryan Linker just joined first class. He moved up from the economy class. Take a look out the wing here. What do we got? Beautiful. Back inside. Even, like I said, even has the safety cards from the old Airways stuff. Awesome. Let's go ahead and walk to the back of the cabin. I love hearing that sound change. Come back to our aft galley where we got 2 lavatories. Please don't congregate in the galleys. Got our snacks. None of these open up, I don't think. There we go. All our placards. Really, look at this. Latch, stow, and secure all doors, drawers, inserts, tables, shelves, cart doors, and stow carts and loose items during taxi, takeoff, turbulence, and landing. Yeah, I've actually had a galley cart come all the way to the front of the airplane and hit the cockpit door. So, that's no good. Also had a galley cart go loose and rip an armrest off one of the seats. Those galley carts are no joke, man, when they get loose. So you can really injure yourself really bad if the galley cart gets out. We'll come back up to our flight deck here. A little curtain. Can we move the curtain over? Nope. Actually, I've never looked up here. Can we... So there's an avionics bus. James Giacobi has become a member. Welcome, James. Another member to the channel. Get some positive rates out there for James. Commercial pilot member, my friend. Thank you so much for joining the channel, my friend. So... I'm starting to sound like Cap Cannon. I keep saying my friend. I'm trying to not say my friend, but thank you, dude. Really appreciate it. Like I was saying before, check out the V1 After Dark content, members only, on YouTube. There's going to be some more stuff coming. I'm a little bit behind. And, of course, sync your YouTube account to your Discord, if you're part of the Discord, if you have Discord, and you'll be able to gain access to the V1 After Dark channel in the Discord, which, like I said, this past week, I've been crazy busy. I haven't been too active on the Discord or anything like that just because I have my recurrent training and with a baby and family coming in town for the holidays. So it's been pretty hectic for me, but I will try to be much more active in there as things get a little bit more settled down. But fun fact here, while I'm looking at this panel, this is the essentially maintenance ground service bus. So when we shut the airplane down cold and dark and we're going to the hotel, what we'll do is we'll turn off all the batteries and stuff inside, and then we flip a switch right here, and essentially it powers just a few internal lights and things like that, so maintenance can come onto the airplane and they will essentially be able to do what they need to do with the ground service bus. It keeps it from going completely cold and dark, and it won't drain the batteries or anything like that. So there's a little switch right here in this hole that we use for the ground service bus when we walk off and the airplane's going to bed for the night. Oh boy, we missed our top of descent. Yes, we did. Oh, we are behind. Let's go ahead and set 14000. We're going to start down now. Michael Zander, hey, it's been a while, but I had one question for you regarding fighter jets. Uh-oh. You think the old, raw, much louder engines like the engine in the F100 are more badass than the clean new engines nowadays? Oh, man, of course. I love hearing the old raw power of a straight turbo jet. But let's go ahead and manage you up. Let me get my thing set back up here. We need a 14000, and we might be able to catch it. We'll go here. So, yeah, Xander. Of course, I mean, who doesn't love the sound of that raw power straight turbo jet? What makes the engines quieter now is we've got all that bypass air, we've got the fan section. And if you look at a Neo engine on an Airbus, you really can tell the difference because you look straight through the engine of all that bypass air. It's much quieter. Has a lot of other performance enhancing features as well. But I mean, come on, who doesn't love the sound of an F100? So I do like the sound of the F100 or any straight turbo jet. A couple old Gulfstreams or Lears had the straight turbo jets, and they ended up having to put hush kits on them, make them quieter. But I don't know. I think the F-18 sounds pretty nice. You know, you get that whine to it. But anyway, that might be a question for Carl. He's your pointy airplane driver. Alright, so we're starting now. We're trying to catch up with our decel. I think we did catch it. We did manage to catch it. That's good. We'll go ahead and stow you. There we go. Alright, we've caught our decel. We're down to 14,000 feet over Briggs. The bottom of the GIMS 3 arrival is another expected 8,000 over GIMS. So let's throw that in here. There's GIMS. I want to cross GIMS at 8,000. Expect that. Boom. On descent. Insert. And we're looking good. We're looking good. What was our meter down there? It was 3006. 3006. There's 18,000 feet. Oh, come on. There we go. 3006 set once. Twice. Forgot to set that to standard. And 3 times. We'll get our seatbelt signs on. In preparation for landing. And there you go, Michael Zander. Hornet driver here. There you go. The GEF404-400 is what we flew. The Super Hornets have the 414s. Nice. Alright, we are level, let's see, not level, but crossing at 14,000. We're on speed. Everything's looking good. We'll go ahead and get rid of that page. We'll go ahead and put our TCAS into below mode. Speed. Flyby time. Man. Getting ready to come into old Philly. Little wonky behavior there. What's going on? Is that turbulence or is that airplane induced? Well, looks like we're hitting some serious turbulence there. It's a bumpy day, so just like as in real life, I'm going to go ahead and reduce speed now. I'll probably do about 280, 270 if we're getting bumped around. We're getting bumped around pretty significantly here. And we'll go ahead and set 8,000 in the box. Push for managed descent. So we're going to cross gyms at 8,000, thrust idle, descent. Yeah, we're getting bumped around here pretty good. Carl says even the 727 were fast. Yeah, oh. Yeah, the 72 was fast, man. Like 8.5, 8.7. Man, we're getting bumped. You can hear the galley carts shaking in the background. Alright, let's pay attention here. We're getting close to 10,000. There's 13.1. I'll probably back us off to 250. Another 549 euro donation from Michael Zanner. He says, when I want to join as a member, it just gives me an unknown error, really making me angry. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, dude. Thanks for supporting the channel though, and still being able to super chat and hang out with us. I don't know why it's giving you an error. That's unfortunate. I wish I knew how to fix that for you. But we had a couple members join today, and they didn't seem to have any error problems. So hopefully it's not something on YouTube's end. But thank you anyway, Michael, for supporting the channel and being here, hanging out in the stream with us. Good to have you aboard, my friend. Dougal says a few more likes for all this info would probably be appreciated. Yeah, I would appreciate that, Dougal. I would appreciate a few more likes, guys. Spread the love. Alright, so that looks good. We'll put that on VOR. We're on speed. What's our temp? Let's get the ice on. It is bumpy in Philly today. It's windy, gusty, bumpy. Should make for a fun raw data approach. There we go. Yeah, that's some serious turbulence. That looks cool though. Look at the lights down there. I don't know. I can't wait for Flight Sim 2020, man. If we get an Airbus like this in that simulator platform, this is just going to be normal. Man, all right. Let's pay a little bit more attention. We're at 10,000 feet. We'll go ahead and get our lights on. Oops, that stays off. We'll go ahead and let them know that we're at a 10,000. We're still kind of in and out of the clouds, so I'm going to leave the heats on for now. And Haley, yes, sir. Xander coming in with another 10-euro donation. He says, when the pilot announces to fasten the seatbelts because of turbulence and the galley cart starts shaking, I'm about to head out. Yep. Got to make sure those galley carts are secure, man. I was just saying earlier, we've had a couple of them come loose, and it's not very fun for anybody involved. I'll put up the, actually, can you really, oh, you can do your doors and slides from here? I should probably play with this more. Alright, there we go. Out of 10. This is some serious bumps, guys. So essentially what this arrival does is it takes us on a downwind leg. I'm going to expedite us here. Let's go direct to Wojcik. Actually, that's a little far. Let's go direct Beals. Direct Beals. And down we go. That'll clear out our descent, so we'd probably get a descend and maintain clearance 8,000. Thrust-throttle open descent 8,000 is blue. Down we go. Dimitri says my late dad flew helicopters for the Greek military for 30 years. Wow. He loved the 727. Every time I fly that plane, it reminds me of him. That's awesome, man. Yeah, the 72... You guys know by now, that's probably my favorite airplane of all time. I wish, that's one plane I wish I could have flown. The opportunity was there. A couple freight operators that were running the 72 I could have tried to get on with, but my career kind of took me a different way, and I never ended up on the 72, but it is a beautiful airplane, man. I remember seeing that thing flying around, just, wow. Dougal says, if he won, I bought the Air Force Labs Beach 350 yesterday. Man, that is one demanding airplane. Dougal, that's awesome, though. It's a lot of fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Fighter just subscribed. Thank you, Fighter. Phantom says it actually easier in real life if you physically manipulate switches and levers without having to click around, click drag. I totally agree with that as well, man. Almost with any airplane, really. The Airbus, not so much, because it has a lot of that nice automation. But with props in general, being able to just move your hand and manipulate a switch and not have to look and stare at it, it does make a huge difference. Makes a huge difference. So I can definitely agree with that. Almost any airplane. Got pretty dark there pretty quick. Oh, you know what I did? I hit my time acceleration a little bit. Or not time acceleration. What is it? Day manipulation. That's right. It looks cool, though. We are getting rocked, guys. Like, we are getting rocked around here. Another member coming on the channel. Jasic, is it Jasic or Jack? Jasic R, welcome to Private Pilot Jasic. Man, you guys are awesome. Thank you. A couple positive rates in the chat there for Jasic R. Hope I'm saying that right. Thank you, man, for joining the channel, becoming a sponsor of the channel. Like I said before, I don't want to sound repetitive, but in case you missed it, I don't want anybody to miss it. If you are a member of the channel, there is exclusive content for you on the podcast series. I'm also going to be releasing a couple other videos there. Make sure you check those out. It's for members only. And then if you are part of Discord, if you like Discord, make sure you sync your YouTube account to your Discord, and you'll be able to gain access to the V1 After Dark channel that way as well. So that's kind of just a more intimate place for me to communicate with you guys. I've been crazy busy with recurrent training and the baby and holidays, so it's hard for me to do everything at once here, but I am trying to be more active here as time allows. So do have family coming in town tonight, so I wanted to do the 5,000 subscriber special stream, which we are going to do here very soon. I want to do it this weekend, but I don't think I'm going to be able to, just because we have family in town. So I'm planning tentatively planning that for next Saturday. We'll see how that pans out, but we are more than likely going to be going to the Honduras down there, doing an approach in, I'm thinking the Airbus, just because this is an Airbus channel, so it should be It should be fun. Hopefully that's next Saturday. We'll see, though. All right, we're level 8,000. Let's go ahead and, you know, Cactus 191. We're getting rocked around here. Let's just go direct Wojcik. Set us up for the manual downwind entry to Philly. There's Philly over there. This arrival in real life takes forever as well. It's just they descend you early, so you feel like you're already there, but you're not because you descended so far out. And then you have to fly all the way down, practically past the airport. Then you make a 180 and fly parallel to all the runways back up the other way, and then they turn you on about a 20-mile final. So it feels like half the flight is, you know, less than 50 miles from Philadelphia Airport, but that's just how a lot of the East Coast operates, just with the traffic flow. Tony Doc says, I just checked my charts, but the lope descent angle for London City is 5.5 degrees for runway 27. Woo. So on the loc approach into 27, that is a steep one. That is steep. So definitely not precision. This is the extended light mod. It looks really good, but the problem is it only works when you don't have ortho, I think, or it starts to conflict if you have ortho. So you got to be careful. Tony says, "Oh, it is a loc only approach." So yeah, so that would be a non-precision approach, but the recommended. So basically, the VDP, in order to make a visual descent and landing, you have to be coming down pretty darn steep. All right, there's Philly down there. That's a cool shot. There's the airport. Oh, fantastic freeway scenery for Philly. One of my favorites. That's right there. Here's Wojcik. It's supposed to be at 190 knots. We're going to go ahead and slow it up now, because Wojcik is a hard speed of 190. It's not recommended, so it is a hard speed of 190. And we'll say to go ahead and descend and maintain 3,000. Thrust idle, open descent in the turn. Wow. Ryan says those engines sound so good. Yeah, man, this is the BSS sound pack. It is phenomenal. Traffic on the highway down there. This is basically real life. Let's do a flyby shot here. Beautiful. Yeah, Tony, you can add a screenshot of that. You can throw that in Discord. I don't see why not. Man, we're just getting bumped. VFE next -10, flaps 1. Get those slats out there. This ought to be a really fun approach. I'm glad I said that I would do a raw data approach when we're getting bumped around here. 37 knots on the tail. We're cooking. All right, give us that. Probably get us heading about 060, getting ready to join. I'm going to go ahead and shoot the line off of Martin. 088 outbound. Insert. Pull heading. We're going to get some speed brakes out there. We're getting a little bit high. VFE next -10, flaps 2. It was a bumpy night. We'll go ahead and back this off to 180 even. Stow those speed brakes, don't need them anymore. Get some internal lights on in here. light is on. Alright. How we looking? Rose LS looks good. IVII, so that's the wrong... We're showing the wrong identifier right now, but I think that's because of our position. But I think we could probably just go ahead and manually... 108.95. Interesting. Oh, there it is. It just switched over. Alright. We'll go ahead and turn right back around to 340. Actually, let's make it 330. Intercept the localizer. Actually, that's bad clearance. Let's do 330, 3000 till established. Cleared ILS. Runway 27 approach. Well, we're cleared ILS 27 approach. She's coming around. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. Alright, here we go. Let's get these ready to go. I hate the boxes around the display units. It kind of ruins some of the immersion for sure. But that's a beta thing. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead. We're Speed Alt Star, Loc Star. Oh, it's in the turn. Let's just go ahead and disengage you. Go bird on. Whoa. Like, dove down on me. Flight director's off. And the bird, I'm going to go ahead and turn auto thrust off. A little bit low out here. We could have probably gone in closer to Martin. Every time I let go of the stick, it wants to dive. That's not very accurate. Alright, we are Pink Needles. Everything's off. 3,000 feet. Something is definitely going on with the bumps. The flight factor does not like the turbulence because it's... I mean, I'm going full aft deflection on the stick to keep it from nosediving every time we hit a bump. You can see our localizer Pink Needles coming over there on the center. So once we get centered, what we're looking at, guys, is when you're hand flying, this green diamond, that's your track diamond. Oop, that's my altitude. Trying to fly and point this out. So it doesn't matter what the wind is. You could have a 100-knot crosswind, but if you put that green track diamond on that pink cross, then you're going to track the center line because that is your ground track angle. All right, this is going to get annoying. I'm going to go ahead and spin that up out of the way. So that green track diamond, if you put that on the Maltese cross, you're going to be on the center line. It doesn't matter what the winds are. Makes it very easy. Now, and that's in the real airplane. In the flight factor, we'll see how well it works, but we can see we're pretty much visual. I mean, this turbulence is out of control. I mean, holy crap, look at that. Like, that's not me doing that. Steady as she goes, airplane. Alright, we're on the slope. Right about 54% at flaps 2, 54, 52% in 1. Is about what you need to stay 180 knots in normal conditions. This is definitely not normal conditions. trying to get my landing light on with my right hand. There we go. We are all over the place. I'm gonna go ear down, push for managed speed. Oh, you know what? We never activate confirm. I think I forgot to do that. Yep. Activate and confirm. Push for managed speed. I apologize, guys. This is borderline unflyable here. Let's see if we can get back down on the glide slope.
2,500.
Oh, I'd rather reload. Oh, how nice it would be. No more turbulence. Alright, there's our green track diamond over the Maltese cross. Flaps full. Gotta get back on the glide slope. I'm gonna get the heading bug out of the way. Sometimes the heading bug will actually make things worse for you when you're doing a raw data approach, because you'll see a little blue line over here and you're going to want to try to fly the blue line, and it's not where you want to be. Alright, it looks like that crazy weird turbulence is finally over, so I don't know what was going on with that. Alright, we're on the slope. Let's go ahead and get that green track diamond over the Maltese cross now. Right about there. That will set up your crab angle for you. 1,000 feet, stable.
1,000.
Landing check is chem crew advised. Auto thrust is off. Auto brakes are low. ECAM memo. We got all green, signs blue. Landing check is complete.
Terrain.
Really? This windshield though makes it so dark. I think it's the windshield tint. I don't really think it's that dark outside.
500. 400. 300.
Two whites,
100
two
above.
reds are pretty much coincident.
200. Minimum.
Landing.
$100. 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. Retard. 5.
Spoilers. Reverse green. A decel and a little bit floaty in that one there. Almost felt like she was dropping out on me. 70 knots. We'll take the next high speed. We'll close the buckets. I mean, is it that dark? Maybe it is, but this windshield, just the tint is terrible. All right, we can make the right 90 here. Ooh, I left the ice on. We didn't need that on. Not a big deal though. All right, once we're clear of the runway, let's go ahead and start cleaning up the airplane. That's closed. Flaps coming up. You go to taxi. Wing lights can come off. Strobe lights auto. Is there any retro liveries in here we can park next to? Doesn't look like it. We'll take it in here next to this Embraer. That's up. That can go back to standby. Everything else looks good. Man, she looks good. All right, we got our marshalers out front. We'll go ahead and kill the taxi light. Coming left. Bravo 7. Right next to, it's like an Asian place over here in the terminal that I really like. A320, that's us. Brake set. No APU, so we'll go ahead and kill that one. We'll kill engine 2. And we'll go ahead and connect the ground power. Got good ground power. That is on. Kill engine 1. Well, welcome to Philly. Alright, Gio. Gonna need to refuel this puppy. Get her on the way. 10% N1. We can go ahead and kill the beacon light. Hey, let's take a look at that landing. I'm pretty sure I did a little bit of floaty on that one. Let's take a look at that. That whole approach just felt weird, man. We had, between the turbulence and whatnot, just felt weird to me. So let's take a look. What am I looking for? There we go. We'll go ahead and kill the real view. Pop us into replay mode here. Take it from here. Dimitri says flip factor 320. Yes, sir, but look at that shot right there. We got Philly in the background. V1, what does landing inhibit mean in that case? Landing inhibit, it's basically going to inhibit any nuisance warnings other than, you know, engine fire, failure, something like that. Basically anything orange will probably be in the inhibit category. That's just to avoid overreaction by the flight crew. Now, the same thing happens during takeoff at 100 knots. You get the takeoff inhibit, but there are certain items that you will still abort a takeoff for, reject a takeoff for. But the same thing kind of applies for the landing inhibit. Basically, it's just going to silence some nuisance warnings. You don't, you know, if you get a sensor failure or something like that, you don't want to be distracted or right on ShortFinal when something that's not necessarily safe or for safety of flight. So it will inhibit that. Coming in over the river. Engine's looking good. Definitely prettier on the other side, I think. There we go. Man. There was 1,000 footers. Maybe just a wee bit of float there. Spoilers up, reversers out. Let's take a look from right here. Let's take a look from this side. Note the Florence kit here on the wingtips. It's kind of hard to see in this light, but on touchdown, shortly after weight on wheels, you'll see the aileron deflect up. Kind of acts as little speed brakes, kills lift, slows the airplane down a little bit. Right there we go. There's the Florence kit. Beautiful. All right, let's take a look at this landing from the outside. Let's see. That's a little too far. Where do we want to go? We want to go right about there. Let's go outside. Let's see how we did here. Man, the lights look fantastic. The light plugin I'm using, look at that crosswind. I didn't straighten it out either, did I? That was a pretty piss poor job on my part. Oh, that was side-loaded as all heck. Came down on center line though. I just definitely side-loaded her. Definitely a little bit of a side load on that one. What is a light plugin I'm using? I'm just using the, I think it's called the TK Light mod, and it only affects areas that do not have ortho. So if you have ortho, you may have an issue with the TK Light mod, but it's fantastic for night flying. Sometimes I even just get rid of the ortho area and use the TK Light mod at night. Yeah, so you can see, holy crap, that was terrible. That's pretty terrible. That would actually be pretty close to a bust in a check ride, because, well, it wouldn't be, but this main, the runway center line has to be between the mains on touchdown. Now, my sight picture, I wasn't even really paying attention. I don't know what happened there. I just kind of was in la-la land for some reason. But the sight picture looks decent, but it's actually not. This is actually a pretty poor landing because the aircraft is going to be extremely side-loaded. You look at the trajectory of the aircraft along the longitudinal axis, and you can see that not only can you collapse a gear when you're side-loaded, in a severe case, it's uncomfortable for the passengers in the back, and it definitely feels a lot harder than it is. But if the main gear is not, if the runway center line is not on the main gear, or between the main gear, that would be considered a mandatory go-around. Now you can see shortly after touchdown, we got it right back on the center line. And some of this is, you know, X-plane ground handling physics, because right about there, the airplane's going to have decent rudder authority, and I'm trying to rudder her over and get her on the center line, but it's kind of been a little wonky because it always wants to pull into the wind even on the ground. More exaggerated than real life. But still, definitely not the best landing in my book. But hey, we're down safe. We're in Philly. And I think that's going to wrap her up, guys. So appreciate you guys tuning in today. I wish I could have a little bit better landing for you there. But I'm going to be heading off now. We've got family coming in town tonight. I've got some other things going on. But I will hopefully be back with you guys not before too long. Thank you for joining the channel. For all my new members out there, mods and subscribers, thank you guys. Thanks for everyone just hanging out and chat. All the donations, you guys are awesome. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed today's stream in the beautiful cactus livery for the Flight Factor 320. If you haven't already, definitely pick this livery up. It is well worth it. So once again, guys, thank you for tuning in. I will catch you all next time. See ya.
This is how I show my love.